Now, throughout this week, Joy News agenda has focused on the sanitation problem confronting the country. Now, our attention has especially been on President Akufo-Addo's pledge to make Accra the cleanest city on the African continent. Now, this week started with Nancy Emefa-Dradosi's trip to parts of the capital where garbage has taken over streets and marketplaces. Ifwa Evans Chinnery, Jojo Kobna, Justice Bedu and Maxwell Agbagba all established the sanitation situation is getting worse. Well, it's not all gloom and doom. There is some intervention on the horizon. Tomorrow, more than 500 trucks are being distributed to assemblies across the country as part of measures to address the situation. Now, let's speak to officials of Zoom Lion who are leading this drive. But before that, we'll bring you back that report filed by Nancy Emefa-Dradosi.
Waste management has been one of the biggest problems facing the country for years, with markets, residential areas, and even schools struggling to deal with the filth. In 2014, it was the source of a massive cholera outbreak in Accra and part of the country that claimed 150 lives. It therefore came as a great relief to Ghanaians when President Akufo-Addo pledged in April last year to deal with and even make our country the best in Africa, cleaner than Cairo, Johannesburg, Casablanca, and many other cities on the continent.
Within these 4 years, by the end of the 4 years of my term in office as president, Accra will be the cleanest city in Africa. That is where we want to get to. Accra will be the cleanest city in the entire African continent.
He had created a new ministry earlier to ensure that his idea succeeds. Joseph Kofi Adda, a former minister in Kufuor's administration, was put in charge. No doubt, it was a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, considering the weight of the problem.
The way I come down to this station and saw the refuse here is very bad. I don't know what is happening in our management. We have a law abiding for health and everything. Why is this going on in the country? Please, the government should come down and do something about it. Thank you.
Joseph Kofi Adda, as sanitation minister, held his first media encounter to roll out his plan.
The ministry has also been able to complete a draft policy paper for the approval of cabinet to establish a national sanitation authority with a supporting sanitation fund to serve as a dedicated agency to regulate and lead the implementation of the sanitation policies of government, as well as provide reliable and regular funding to support effective service delivery.
We were also assured of a sanitation brigade that will ensure compliance with the laws and regulations, just like the town council, also known as tankers in the past.
The policy also makes provision for the establishment of a dedicated enforcement team under the authority to be called National Sanitation Brigade that would ensure compliance to lay down laws and regulations.
Months after this, our checks revealed the situation has rather worsened.
All we are asking is for them to come and collect the overflowing refuse dump. If they don't, we will demonstrate.
Mr. Adda made an appearance on Joy News to make another pledge to show evidence of his performance by June 2018. That time also lapsed. With the country's sanitation getting worse, Ghanaians grew more and more impatient.
The sanitation minister is not competent. I hope the intended reshuffle affects him, because ever since he came, things have worsened. He doesn't do anything. They are just wasting taxpayers' money on him.
President Akufo-Addo reassigned Mr. Adda.
President Akufo-Addo asked for the first time in his 18-month administration undertaking a ministerial reshuffle. In a statement signed by Director of Communications at the Presidency, Eugene Ahing, on Thursday evening, It indicates that the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources is now the Minister for Aviation.
It may not have been Mr. Adele's fault. He had complained about lack of funds for the job. But will the arrival of the new minister help revive the president's vision of making Accra the cleanest city in Africa? Only time will tell, but some Ghanaians are already doubtful.
As
for the new minister, I know she will not do anything different. All our leaders are the same.
Ghanaians are counting down to the end of 2020, which is just 2 years away. Nancy Emefa Jadosi, Joy News.
Right, now let's meet Emma Achiabuache. She's the Director of Corporate Affairs at Zoomlion. Emma, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on The Pulse.
Thank you.
So tell us about tomorrow's big rollout.
Thank you very much. Just as the report that was aired showed, the government gave a promise that he will make sure that Accra becomes the cleanest city in Africa. And this has brought a huge demand on the waste management contractors, the private sector, for us to also up our game and make sure we support that agenda to happen, because that is what we have set for ourselves to do. So we of Zoomlion, from time to time, augment our fleet to support the MMDAs who are in charge of the waste, so to speak. So tomorrow we have ordered 500 trucks which are used to manage waste, and we are launching those trucks at the Independence Square, God willing, tomorrow. And these trucks, we have 150 of them arrived in the country right now, and we will distribute them to the MMDAs, especially the new ones, to support them manage their sanitation issues, all in a bid to achieve the agenda that the government set for itself.
So how much are these trucks going to cost the people of Ghana?
Well, I wouldn't put a figure to it, because we are a private company, of course, and we will have an arrangement with the district assemblies, and it is tailor-made towards a particular assembly. So you come, we sit, and we discuss your sanitation needs, and we do a package for you. So it's not like one jacket fits all. So definitely there will be a cost to it, but I will not be able to put a figure to it now.
So will we be paying for the service that the trucks will be providing, or are we paying for the trucks as well?
No, we will be paying for the service that the truck will be providing. That is what will be in the arrangement. And the major thing that we seek to do is to provide support, build the capacity of the assemblies so that they can carry out their mandate.
Now, 500 trucks. Yes. And obviously the trucks will have a driver, and what other sort of support staff will be working with each truck?
Absolutely. For a skip truck, we have one driver and a janitor, and that is the number of persons forming the crew on the skip truck. And so that is deployed into a particular district or a municipality or a metropolitan area, and the assignment is rolled out. The places where the central bins will have to be located is assigned, and the bins are located.
So tell us how this plugs into the president's vision of a cleaner Accra.
Great. One thing that I have observed over the years is attitude now. Our attitude towards the waste generation and its management as individuals. When it comes to waste management, I would say that it's a shared responsibility. Therefore, everyone is involved. The government has this role to play, the individual has this role to play, and the private sector, which supports government to achieve its aim, also has this role to play. Therefore, as individuals, if we are managing our waste appropriately, our on-premises waste appropriately, the waste wouldn't have the opportunity to drop on the floor. And my brother, when the waste drops on the floor, it costs 3 times the amount of money to manage it in the bin. So we will have to build the attitude where we put our waste in a bin. So we encourage everybody to get a bin. Of course, there are places that it will be a bit difficult to get them to use a bin. So for those areas, we place the central bins by the direction of the authorities in charge. And when we put those bins there, you have to be sure that you put your bin in there, so you don't drop it and you make it cost 3 times, and then you're draining your own assembly. So as an individual, make sure that you manage your waste appropriately by putting your waste in a bin. And when it is there, then our trucks will pick it up and the place is clean. And when the place is clean, that is what the president is looking for. So
help us understand, you said that the services will be tailor-made to each assembly based on their needs. So will there be one contract signed with the local government ministry for this, or will you sign separate contracts with each assembly?
If it is not if it is not one jacket fits all, definitely your needs will have to be programmed on a sheet for you. So I believe we would have to look at the contract on every individual assembly basis.
Have you signed any already?
We already have arrangements going on with the existing MMDAs. So those arrangements are in place and they are running.
Right, so these are just going to plug into the existing contracts that you have with the MMDAs.
You see, there are specifics that brings to the fore the reason why assemblies have been carved out of others. So I believe it includes the population statistics as well. So probably the new ones will realize that their sanitation needs cannot be met by the old arrangement. Therefore, they would call for another form of arrangement. Definitely, if we are adding on, you have to adjust your figures.
Right, let's have a look at the trucks, and there they are. Quite a few of them have already arrived. I see them parked at Independence Square. This was, I'm guessing, done for effect, so we could see them all in one place, right? Definitely. Okay, so we're looking at about 150 of them
right now
that are here at the moment. What sort of capacity do these trucks have?
In terms of the ability
to how many tons or how much?
The bin that you see on the truck right now is a 12 cubic meter bin.
Right.
And that is the capacity or the volume of waste that bin is able to carry.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, obviously, some districts will have far more waste to manage than others.
Yes.
Do you find that perhaps this capacity is a bit limited, or how do you expect this to?
The arrangement is such that a number of bins are deployed plus a truck or two, depending on the kind of arrangement you would want. So it is not like one truck, one bin, and that's it. It could be more, depending on the needs of a particular district.
I was interested in the contractual arrangements. You were explaining that you have existing contracts with the MMDAs, and
yes.
so this is just an added service that will be added onto the contract?
No, I said that we would want to build capacity of especially the new ones, because I can foresee that the new assemblies would be finding waste management issues a bit difficult because they are new and the old contract sits with another authority. Definitely, it will be right for me as a new person to do my own arrangement, because I believe the population size was taken into consideration before the new assembly was carved out. So if the population size was taken into consideration, waste generation is also based on population.
So what about the existing MMDAs?
They would own the old contract. If they want their package to be augmented, we'll sit down and look at that.
All right, but as it stands, these 500 trucks are not aimed at the old ones, it's aimed at the new ones.
Mainly aimed at the new ones, but I believe they wouldn't be able to take all. So a few of the old ones who want their services to be augmented. Somebody feels that I'm in charge of this area, I'm a metropolitan assembly, I'm a municipal assembly, but the waste we generate is so much, I want to increase the number of containers I have so that I fall within the package that sits with the Metropolitan Assembly. That is also doable.
Sumline has paid for 500 of these,
yes,
but you're yet to sign any contracts. Isn't that a bit risky?
It is a job we do with the assemblies already, and waste generation is there every day. So I believe that absorbs the risk.
Thank you so much, Emma, for educating us on this.